Captain's log. I'm finally closing in on the most dangerous bounty hunter in the world. Samus Aran. This lone hunter has accomplished 15 missions since the 1980s, each one ending with something exploding, screaming, or melting. She doesn't work for money. She doesn't work for glory. She works because somebody somewhere made the mistake of being alive. Anyways, to track her down, I've been retracing her steps, starting in 1986 with Metroid on the NES. Samus was sent to the planet Zebes to stop the space pirates and to destroy the Metroids, these tiny floating things that will actually suck the life out of you. The game itself has not aged gracefully, Samus looks a little goofy, and the environments are mostly black voids with good intentions. The controls are also really stiff. Precise platforming is the game's way of saying, I hope you like pain. Wait, hold on, I'm picking up something. Oh, never mind. It's just bangers. What made this game stand out back then was how open it felt. You didn't just move right, you explored, backtracked, got lost, drew a map on graph paper, and then cried a little bit. That design eventually birthed an entire genre, the Metroidvania. Literally, the first part of that name comes from this series, and maybe I'll talk about the other game series in a future video. Only if you hit subscribe though. The problem is that every room looks the same. No landmarks, no colors, just pain. Samus somehow navigated this nightmare without a map. Meanwhile, I had to draw one myself. Where am I? Back in the day, this game was brutal. And it still is. You'll die a lot early on, but once you find a few upgrades, it becomes bearable. You know, you get the morph ball, a couple of new beams, the screw attack, especially the screw attack, and it makes you feel rewarded for jumping, which is the nicest thing this game does for you. The bosses, though, are kind of pathetic. You just rub up against Kraid and Ridley while firing missiles until they explode. It works, but not for the reasons you want it to. But Samus's real final boss are these goddamn rings! I swear, they were coded by Satan himself. Still, the finale nails the mood. Mother Brain blows up the planet and Samus walks away a legend. It is hard to play today, but very easy to appreciate because this is where her legend began.
Pursuit meter, 8%.
The next trace is on planet SR388, the birthplace of the Metroids. Set a course for 1991, Metroid 2 Return of Samus on the Game Boy. Samus was sent to SR388 to wipe out every last Metroid in existence, because no one else was qualified to do it. But how many are left? 500? 50,000? Nah, 39. They were already endangered. This planet at least looks unique though. Every area is distinct, which makes navigation easy. You know what else makes the game easy? It's a straight line. I mean, what is this? It's not that the map is small, it's just sectioned. Once you move on, you'll never need to go back. There's even a room of pure spikes where survival depends on whether or not you have enough health. And what's worse, you gotta go back through it. But it's still satisfying to see a Metroid shell on the ground. Little clues that you're close to another kill. Technically, there are 39 bosses, but really only 5 types. Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, Omega, and Regret. There's gotta be something good about this game. It's not the soundtrack and that annoying hit sound. Wait. That's one of Samus's items. She must have left it behind. If I can get to it, I can track her signal. I just have to go through. Oh no. Ow, 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 ow. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Finally, I got it. Now I just have to make my way back. Oh, god damn it. At least the upgrades are fun. The space jump and screw attack combo turns Samus into a flying blender. And the spider ball is slow, but surprisingly useful. The final battle with the Queen Metroid is intense, and with no annoying rings this time. Then comes the twist. A baby Metroid hatches and mistakes Samus for its mother. But instead of killing it, she adopts it. The galaxy's most dangerous creature, and she just goes, yeah, that's mine now. It's hard to imagine keeping a saber-toothed tiger as a pet, but maybe that's why they went extinct. Still though, Samus is no longer here.
Pursuit meter, 14%.
Torian. This is where it gets good. Take me to 1994, Super Metroid on the SNES. For the first time in a Metroid game, there's an actual story. Kinda, it's just a recap of the first 2 games. Samus drops off the last Metroid to a team of scientists so that they can study it. until Ridley shows up and kidnaps it. Didn't he explode in the last game? Samus follows him back to Zebes, and from there, the game just lets go. No objectives, no waypoints, nothing. You're on your own. It's disorienting at first. Every path feels like a dead end until one finally opens up. Can I go here? Nope. Can I go here? Nope. Here? No. Here? Yes. Finally. It is frustrating going around in circles, but then all of a sudden you find a new item and everything just clicks. Oh, I can open green doors now. I remember a green door all the way back at the beginning, and that's when Super Metroid hooks you. The map isn't there to guide you, it trusts you. You are always meant to be exactly where you can access. Sometimes you'll just stop, look at the world, listen to the music. It's dark, tense, and heroic all at once. Just pure atmosphere. And these visuals are just stunning. The question doesn't become, what do you do? It's when do you do it? Exploration is everything. You can see secrets you can't reach yet. You can either come back later with the right upgrade, or spend 15 minutes mastering some insane jump to get it early. That's the beauty of it. The game gives you the freedom to push yourself. And thankfully there are no spiky rooms this time. Just lava ruins, which is arguably worse. The planet feels alive. The map is huge, 6 regions, each with its own identity. The fire world, underwater world, ghost world, and somehow they all fit together. The bosses are really distinct and amazing this time. You face 4 titans, Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, and of course, Ridley. This is what the hunt was meant to be. The final mission sends you back to Torian, where the impossible happens. Enemies that should have been extinct appear again. Those goddamn rings! And then a giant Metroid attacks, drains Samus nearly to death before stopping, as if it remembers her. Samus fights through and reaches Mother Brain again, same arena, same monster, until it evolves. Mother Brain unleashes the rainbow beam of death, nearly killing Samus, but the baby Metroid returns, saving her, only to die in the process. Fueled by grief, Samus vaporizes Mother Brain and escapes Zebes one last time. They finally nailed it, a true Metroid masterpiece. Everyone should play this game at least once. Sure, while jumping is clunky, platforming can be a bit rough, and there's so much backtracking. Fast travel would have been nice. But once the credits roll, you don't care about any of that. You just feel satisfied. But then Samus went quiet. She took no new contracts for 8 long years. Maybe she was done. Maybe she just needed the silence. Until the call came again. The BSL station back on the Metroid homeworld. Take me to 2002, Metroid Fusion. The game opens in the best possible way, with Samus crashing her ship. What did Nintendo mean by this? She was assigned to guard a research team on SR-3888, but she gets attacked by this new enemy, a parasite called X. She does get infected, but a vaccine is made from the cells of the baby Metroid, which saves her, but now it's infused in her DNA so she can't handle the cold. Then disaster strikes at the BSL station, and Samus is sent to investigate. Wait, is that an objection marker? In my Metroid game? After Super Metroid's total freedom, being told where to go almost feels insulting. But it is there for a reason. You see, Fusion is trying to tell a story. For once, there are named characters. Well, one, there's a computer she calls Adam after a fallen ally who we've never met before, but she clearly hasn't forgotten. Adam gives orders while SAX, Samus's infected clone, hunts her through the station. I started calling it Saxophone halfway through, and I genuinely forgot what it was called. The issue is, everything just kind of feels small. This is what I mean. There are still secrets to find, but the map's linearity never lets you forget the objectives. Platforming though feels a lot tighter, and Samus can grab edges now, which you would think would be just a nice little addition. But it changes everything. Boss fights are back in form, and Ridley is back too. Didn't he explode in the last game? In the end, Samus decides that the only way to destroy the X is to crash the BSL station into the planet, destroying SR-3888 for good. Fusion is great, but it's not better. It's Super Metroid, but with objectives and dialogue. And somehow that just made it feel smaller. Cleaner and tighter, sure, but you're missing that wonder of open space. I did manage to find a helmet from one of the saxophone enemies, so that's pretty cool. But if Fusion felt too confined, maybe it's time that we change dimensions. Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Finally, a 3D Metroid game. The 2D Metroid games were great, especially after Super Metroid, but this series needed something bigger, something that would bring it back into the spotlight. Landing here was an immediate mixed bag. For the first time, Samus is in 3D, and just like every other game series that made the leap from 2D to 3D, something had to be sacrificed. And you can instantly feel it. While playing this game, all I thought about was, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. But whenever the credits rolled, I found myself thinking, this was good. Metroid Prime is peak everything. Except for the part where you play it. They nailed the environment. Landing on Talon 4 and exploring every inch of it feels incredible. The map is massive and layered, but still interconnected. And every area has secrets tucked into its corners. Somehow, they made a 3D Metroidvania, and it works. The scale, the structure, the sense of discovery, it reminded me of Super Metroid in all the best ways. And the music is the best in the series. The quiet mystery of Talon Overworld. The danger pulsing through Magmore caverns. And to whoever thought about putting a techno song in the snow world. Genius. I wouldn't put it anywhere else. The lore is on another level. Not just cutscenes and statues. Everything in this game is scannable. Enemies, items, machinery, the environment. All of it feeding you world building as you explore. What's that?
A rock.
Whoa. What's that? You learn about the Chozo, the pirates, their history, their mistakes. But why is Samus even here? Well, she was sent here after detecting a distress signal from a ruined research frigate orbiting Talon 4. The space pirates were experimenting with this radioactive substance called Phazon, mutating everything it touched. Her mission becomes simple: track the pirates, uncover the source of the corruption, and stop whatever's poisoning the planet. And it actually feels like being Samus. So then what's wrong with the game if everything else is perfect? It's the controls. Samus controls like a tank. She can only move forward and backwards. Turning left or right requires physically rotating her entire body. You don't strafe, you pivot, and in a platform shooter hybrid, that's a nightmare. And of course, you can't fight enemies like this, so they give you a lock-on. That only works sometimes. If an enemy is too high or too low, lock-on refuses to work. And guess which enemies are always above or below you? Every boss in the game. So to actually aim upwards, you have to stop, hold the lock in place button, manually tilt up, hold the lock on, release. It's a whole dance routine just to look up. And I get it, they didn't have a second analog stick to work with, so this is the next best thing. But it just made everything so much harder. Every time I got immersed, exploring the world, absorbing the lore, combat or platforming would yank me back into frustration. Everything Prime does is brilliant, and you can see why the map is huge, why the backtracking takes so long, why the controls are the way they are. It all comes from good intentions. But the hardware limitations drag the whole experience down. When I look back at Super Metroid, I don't think about the wall jumping or the backtracking. I remember the atmosphere, the bosses, the world. When I look back at Metroid Prime, I remember the same things, but I also remember the controls and how badly they held everything back. This is one of those massive games people play for months, rich, rewarding, dense, but demanding. Eventually, Samus reaches the heart of Talon 4, the source of all Phazon, an enemy called Metroid Prime. They said the name of the game. This is peak Nintendo writing. Every Metroid fan should play this game. Just not on the GameCube. Luckily, they did remaster this game for the Switch, and that fixes everything. It is the same brilliance without the suffering. Play that version instead.
Pursuit meter, 26%.
But Prime was just the beginning. The next mission would push that frustration even further. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Samus answers a distress signal from the research team, crash lands in a storm, gets attacked by space zombies, and then a second Samus. Great start. Then the planet's inhabitant, Umos, a bug. Oh, I hate bugs, man. Why did it have to be a bug? Don't you dare touch me. A meteor split the world into two, light ether and dark ether, and then Samus is told to restore power to 3 temples. And this is where the game starts to fall apart. Prime 2 is shockingly linear. Each area is just go in, get 3 dark keys, beat a boss, leave forever. This isn't how Metroid works. Prime 1 scattered 12 keys across the entire planet and rewarded you for exploring. Prime 2 puts Samus on rails. And then there's the Dark World. It is the same layout, but the air hurts you. What? You can't walk 2 feet without taking damage. Sure, there are safe bubbles, but in past Metroid games, if a room hurt you instantly, that meant come back later, not, yeah, you're supposed to be here. It completely discourages exploration, even though this is where all of the keys and all of the bosses are. Between the linearity and the Dark World, I kept thinking the same thing. This doesn't feel like a Metroid game. The atmosphere is different too. Older Metroid games felt lonely, eerie, mysterious, but Prime 2 feels oppressive and angsty. Half of these enemies look like they wandered in from Halo. The dark and light suits look awful in my opinion. And since when do my beams have ammo? Beam weapons were always meant to make you feel powerful. You fought through tough enemies to get a beam attack so that they start to fear you. But in Prime 2, you don't get that satisfaction. Alright, I can kill about 15 of you before I run out of ammo. The rest of you, be gentle. That was so much harder than it needed to be.
Corpses scanned, none of them belong to Samus.
Why would they? It just doesn't feel like a Metroid game. Also, Samus looks like Macaulay Culkin, I'm just saying. But it's not all dark. The visuals and music are incredible, and the bosses are genuinely creative. People warned me that they were brutally hard, but I beat most of them on my first or second try. Some are unfair, but mostly the fights are just really long. The real difficulty is still in the tank controls. Once all 3 temples have finally been activated, the game tells you to go find the 9 sky keys scattered across the whole world. So finally, 80% in, the game becomes a Metroid game. Just too little, too late. Samus defeats Emperor Ing and Dark Samus and saves Ether. I think the most shocking part about this game is that I'm in the minority. People love this game. What am I not seeing? The atmosphere, the linear structure, the discouraging Dark World, the ammo-based beams. It just doesn't feel like Metroid. Samus clearly isn't here, but at least it brought me closer to her.
Pursuit meter, 19%.
19? What do you mean 19? How do you go down after the... This mission was just a mistake. I just hope that the next mission feels more like a Metroid game. And well, Prime 3 certainly feels like something. Take me to 2007, Prime 3 Corruption. Another Prime game. Well, it's time to start scanning things. What's that?
A story.
What, like an actual story in my Prime game? Yeah, an actual story. Massive cinematic cutscenes, voice acting, named characters. Retro Studios said, what if Prime had a plot? There's a virus going around, so it's up to Samus. Who are you? Turns out we get to see more bounty hunters in the world. Gore, Rondis, and Gondreda. Look at these schmucks. They're not going to last. They're going to see why the series is called Samus. The series is called Metroid. We're all going to die. And they do. The space pirates show up, Dark Samus squad wipes everybody, and Samus wakes up with this glowing phazon tumor inside of her. We'll get to that later. Let's talk about the gameplay first. It's a first-person shooter on the Wii. It is just as bad as you think it is. Aiming with the Wii remote actually works fine, but turning is the real problem. You point the Wii remote to the edge of the screen in order to turn right, left, up, or down. Why is it so much harder to look around than it is to just aim? And for the lock-on, if an enemy moves slightly to the side, the lock-on just gives up. Do you know what enemies like to move around a lot? Every boss in the game. It is ridiculous, but the story absolutely makes up for it. Samus wakes up from the coma with a PED suit, letting her enter hyper mode and harness phazon energy to wipe out every enemy in her path. It just costs her life. Like actually though, it drains your health to use hyper mode. The mission is to hop from planet to planet, destroying Leviathan seas to stop the Phazon virus from spreading. And yeah, it's linear. Very linear. Like the game actually tells you when to backtrack. But the vibes are incredible. Brio's ancient ruins. Elysia's Sky City. The pirates' homeworld acid rain hellscape. Every planet feels alive, distinct, and Metroid. I got the same feelings here as I did in Super Metroid. They found the Nintendo charm again. Serious themes and personality. That's how you do Metroid. Meanwhile, all those hunters from the intro got corrupted, and Samus has to fight each of them just to keep going. Even if I didn't care about them as characters, the boss fights hit hard. Samus herself becomes more and more corrupted, her suit glowing brighter and her body losing control. But she pushes on. She reaches Phase, the source of all Phazon. But for real this time, and faces Dark Samus for the last time. And those Wii controls make this fight an ordeal. But she wins, she destroys Phase, cures herself, wipes out Phazon forever, and hits that mission accomplished button. How cocky do you have to be to dedicate a button to just saying mission accomplished? Actually, after you've been on so many missions, you kinda earn bragging rights. Prime 3 is easy, linear, and the controls are just weird. But the story, the atmosphere, just the big payoff for the Prime arc, it's fantastic. It even inspired me to get my own mission accomplished button. And once I find Samus, I'll finally be able to press it.
Pursuit meter 50%.
Just you wait, Samus. I'm getting closer.
Warning, anomaly detected.
An anomaly? What's happening? SR388R, Zebus art. Oh god. Nintendo's remaking planets now. Take me to them. Weird. It is as if these planets are complete remakes of the first two games. Let's start with Metroid Zero Mission. I mean, it's literally Metroid NES, but rebuilt with modern controls and graphics. Think of it like the Pokemon remakes. It's the same foundation, but with modern hardware. Zero Mission even plays like Fusion, and the original map is recreated almost exactly, fake lava rooms and all. But this time, I already know all of the secrets. They even added a whole new ending area. It's an amazing remake. No joke, Zero Mission is one of my favorite Metroid games now. Unlike the other planet, Metroid Samus Returns, which is a remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus. I hate these titles, they're getting way too similar. This one is a massive remake. You're still clearing out every Metroid on SR388, but it loses some of the claustrophobic charm that the Game Boy accidentally had. But with 360 aiming, counterattacks, and fast travel, yeah, it's a great Metroid game. If you want to experience the story of the first two games, but you don't want to suffer through the NES and the Game Boy, play these remakes. But they didn't get me closer to Samus, it was just a diversion. Or expensive diversion. Now this is interesting. A Prime game I didn't cover? And is on the DS? Take me to 2006, Metroid Prime Hunters. It is honestly impressive, even brave, that they tried to make a 3D Metroid game on a console that couldn't handle complicated 3D models. But the graphics are pretty great, and this is the first time we get to see other bounty hunters, and they're actually well designed. Fighting them, however, not so much. But of course, it's a Prime game, so naturally, it doesn't have a normal control scheme. I mean, it's a first-person shooter. Why doesn't it have first-person shooter controls? It's fine. It's fine. It's just a hardware limitation. Nintendo doesn't like to be normal. They like to release FPS games on the GameCube, the Wii, the D-goddamn S. Why? Why is it like this? You move with the D-pad, you aim with the touchscreen, and you fire with the left shoulder button. That's it. The right side of the DS has 4 buttons. All 4 of them jump. And if you're wondering, does it at least have lock-on? No. No, it does not, which means boss fights are hell, and they even repeat bosses. The whole game is go to a planet, fight a bounty hunter, grab an octolith, and escape. You do that 9 times. It is not the best Metroid game out there. You do not need to play this one. Might even be the worst Metroid. Wait, I'm picking up a signal. This might actually be her. Computer, land here. So, Samus. I finally found. Who are you?
Metroid Prime Federation Force, the game where you don't even play as Samus.
Oh, so I don't need to play this one.
But Metroid is in the title.
Damn it.
Instead of Samus, you're a soldier in the Federation Force, going on missions, solving puzzles, shooting bugs, and maintaining peace. And honestly, it controls better than Hunters. And with friends, the chaos is genuinely fun.
Too bad I don't have any friends to play this with. Wait a minute, I do have friends. I should appreciate my friends more.
It's not a bad game, it's just not a Metroid game. Like at all. No Metroidvania, no atmosphere, no Samus, and the missions get repetitive really fast.
Well, Samus clearly isn't here. Bye, guys.
Bye, Shiro. Have a good flight. Wait, no, come back. No, wait, no, help us. We're stranded here. Oh, how can I forget about that? We need to eat Johnson.
They were nice. I hope they do well. Anyways, in order to find Samus, I feel like I need to understand her better. And there's no game that dives more deeper into her character than Metroid Other M.
The baby.
What the hell was that?
This is the most controversial Metroid game, and for good reason. Let's start with the pros. The graphics look great, and the cutscenes are spectacular. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go over the long list of cons. The writing is...
The baby. The baby. The baby. Baby. The baby. Babies. The baby. Babies.
Horrible, and I thought I was bad at script writing. This makes me look like Shakespeare.
The controls are bizarre. You hold the Wii remote sideways instead of using a nunchuck. I miss Prime 3's controls, joystick to move, remote to aim. Here, Samus just automatically targets enemies. But if you want to aim, just point the Wii remote at the screen and BAM! You're in first person mode. It is jarring every single time. Combat basically boils down to dodge, flip, shoot, repeat. It's Metroid on auto battle.
But Samus actually starts with all of her weapons. Too bad Adam doesn't authorize them.
It is cool to finally see Adam after learning about him in Fusion, but he's absurdly controlling and Samus is just weirdly submissive around him. When I think of Samus, I think stoic, battle-hardened, lone wolf bounty hunter who likes long walks on the beach, a woman who stares down carnivorous aliens for breakfast. Here, she's having flashbacks every 5 minutes, PTSD meltdowns, acting like a rebellious teenager desperate for dad's approval. The baby. This is not Samus.
And then the funniest scene. She runs into Ridley and collapses in fear like a terrified child. Sure, it is a great character moment. Except for the fact this is the 5th time she has fought him. She could beat him with her eyes closed at this point.
I said Prime 2 didn't feel like Metroid. Well, Other M isn't even in the same universe. There's no exploration, no atmosphere, just hallways. Endless hallways.
Samus? The ship sucks.
And cutscenes with writing so bad it physically wounded me. I think I owe Prime 2 an apology. Other M is the real imposter.
That game was rough. I want the next game to be good so I can get this bad taste out of my mouth. But I guess you could say, I'm dreading the next game. Do you get it? I'm dreading the next game. What the fuck is that?
Have you ever been away from home for so long you forget what comfort feels like? You adjust, you settle, you convince yourself that this is fine now. But then you find something that snaps you right back. Something that feels like home again. Metroid Dread is that feeling. It is the best Metroid game out there. It feels like Super Metroid 2 with all the same DNA, all the same atmosphere, but with modern design, modern controls, and a shocking ability to recapture 1994 magic in 2021. A distress call comes from ZDR. Parasite X might be active. The Federation sends Emmy robots to investigate and loses control of them, so they send in Samus. The second she lands, a Chozo warrior dismantles her and drains her power. Adam gives her the new mission, survive and escape. So Samus does the only logical thing. She commits to saving the planet instead. As she battles through ZDR, her Metroid DNA begins to awaken. She confronts Ravenbeak and after one hell of a fight, becomes something more, something terrifying, and ultimately something strong enough to end the threat and destroy the planet.
It is a simple story, but it ties the entire franchise together beautifully.
If you only look at Dread's story by itself, it's strong, but when you've played every other game, every reveal feels like a payoff decades in the making. Seeing Parasite X in Elan, watching bosses become Core X again, knowing why Kraid shows up but Ridley doesn't, everything clicks. It's not nostalgia, it's closure.
And it's not just the story that makes this game peak Metroid. It's the fact that it was released on a console with a modern controller.
Wall jumping, sliding, free aim, everything is fluid. Combat is fast, intuitive, and satisfying. There's no jank. The atmosphere is oppressive, moody, and dangerous, but you're not quite as alone as you were in Super Metroid. Adam is always here. It's the right choice narratively, but it does change the vibe.
But there is a new vibe, a constant sense of dread. That's probably why they call it Metroid Dread. Did you guys know I'm a critical thinker?
The enemy sections are terrifying. Tight corridors, enemies that hear you from across the room, instant kill grabs, and a microscopic timing window to escape. In the early game, they're horrifying. Once you get stronger, they're manageable, but never trivial. The bosses are incredible, creative, challenging, readable, and fair. The final boss is brutal, but perfectly doable once you understand the patterns. The suit upgrades are peak design, especially the Metroid suit. If I had one complaint, it's the music. It fits the mood well, but nothing stands out like in Super Metroid or Prime. It's more ambient than iconic.
But my favorite moment in this game was Samus talking.
Fusion had narration, Other M had the baby. But here, when Quiet Robe reveals everything in the Chozo language, Ravenbeak's plan, the fate of the Toha, Samus's role in it all, she responds with one line.
Kino ulo duruda. Ana marilsanor pura. I marhel galo.
That's Samus! That's the bounty hunter I know! Dread modernizes everything that made the franchise special. This is a game that everyone should play, especially newcomers. Not only is this the best Metroid game in my opinion, but it's also the Metroid game that helped me find Samus.
Pursuit meter 100%. Now approaching Samus Aran.
Finally, I found you.
Visuals found.
Give me visuals. What does she mean by this? Why would she... It's just a pinball game. Sure, it's Metroid theme, but it's just a pinball game. A well-made pinball game. And why is it a Prime game? All that searching. And for what? A pinball game? I don't think I'll ever find her. Oh hey, I found her.
I found her, or at least I think I did, on Tanamar. But hold on, before we talk about Samus, I need to say this. These controls are phenomenal.
Finally a normal FPS control scheme for a Prime game. No tank controls, no Wii remote, no DS stylus. Just two thumbsticks as God intended, and it feels so good. It would appear that she teleported us. Where the hell am I?
Welcome to Vuros, a stranded planet with no clear way home, and Samus's mission is to figure out anything that can get her off-world. She pushes through the jungle and immediately finds a Federation Redditor named Mackenzie.
Why though? Why is Samus the chosen one? Why are there companions in my Metroid game? What is Prime 4 trying to be?
And then you meet another companion, and another. Every region has new people who join Samus, fight with her, and share their story. At first it feels wrong. Metroid is supposed to feel lonely. But little by little, the game gets you. Every companion has goals, regrets, things they're running from, and somehow, they start to feel like your team.
I actually grew to like them. Except for Mackenzie, never liked him.
The companions make the missions feel like a shared struggle. Everyone wants to go home, everyone is scared of what Silex is planning, and just when the story hints that someone might be sacrificing themselves, you go, it's Nintendo. They're never going to kill off anybody. They're all going to go home at the end. And then the ending hits. After defeating Silex, everyone prepares to return home. But Silex returns too. And this time, your companions stay behind to stop him and to make sure Samus escapes. This happens no matter what ending you get. They don't die, but they don't come home either.
It is not the ending I was expecting. but it is an ending that means something.
Prime 4 plays fantastic, easily the best controls in the series. The environments are gorgeous, the music has some of the best tracks in Metroid history, combat and bosses are a big highlight. But it's also unbelievably linear. They spell out every next step like Metroid Fusion with a GPS. You do get a cool motorcycle. That's really only used in the open desert. Cool idea, not much to it.
Also, you need to get 100% of the green crystals only found in the desert in order to beat the game. So I hope you like driving around in circles. Sure, they give you a crystal finder at the end, but it still sucks.
And the upgrade system is ridiculous. Find a chip, drive across the desert, give it to Mackenzie, drive back to where you needed the upgrade. This is padding 101. Old Samus would pick up an upgrade and just immediately use it.
Alright, let's get into the big issue that people have with this game. Let's talk about Sylux.
He appeared in 2 secret endings spread across 18 years. He was hyped as this mysterious mega threat, the next Ridley, the next Mother Brain. But those secret endings only show his ship stalking Samus and then him breaking into a Federation facility to steal a Metroid. That's it. Prime 4 does flesh him out more, a disgraced soldier whose refusal to follow orders causes his squad to die. A genuinely dark backstory, but to fans who waited 2 decades, he still didn't feel like the universe-ending threat they imagined.
And so we've come full circle. People say this doesn't feel like Metroid.
Because yeah, Samus is never alone. The world is open instead of claustrophobic, the game tells you exactly where to go, companions talk to you, controls are modern, wayfinding is modern. Prime 4 evolves Metroid into a modern action-adventure game. But here's the thing, Metroid has always evolved. Super Metroid wasn't Metroid 2. Fusion changed everything, story, waypoints, linearity. Samus Returns modernized the 2D formula, letting Dread become a masterpiece. And with the Prime trilogy, Prime 1 broke the formula by going 3D, Prime 2 reinvented the structure, and Prime 3 went cinematic. If Metroid didn't keep evolving like it did, it would have died.
So you have to ask yourself the question, what would Prime 4 be if it didn't change? You think it'd be like Prime 1, but it'd probably be like Prime 3, but no matter what, do you really want a series stuck in the past?
Prime 4 isn't the best Metroid game, not even close. But it's good because it's different, because it brings in new players, because it stands out, and honestly, I had a great time with it.
I was afraid to make this video because I hated Metroidvanias. I would always get lost, overwhelmed, frustrated, and just quit playing them entirely. But forcing myself through this series, I get it now. Metroid evolves, Metroid experiments, Metroid even fails sometimes, but at least it tries, unlike other series. Even at its lows, its highs are some of the best games ever made. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I love Metroid. Samus! Samus, over here! I'm your biggest fan! Oh. Oh, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Yeah, that's all the button does. I didn't have time to make it do anything else.